Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday live stream. So we got a bunch of things to go over, so let's just jump right into it. First of all, what we're talking about today is a little bit different than what we usually talk about, which is digital assets. And that would be Bitcoin, altcoin, all types of things in between. However, I think that digital assets that you have, you could be doing something like this with Google Gemini as it becomes an asset for what you do, and it is digital. So I guess if you want to really play it out, these are what will be considered a digital asset. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how you can create your own, essentially, crypto assistant, kind of like Jarvis in Iron Man. And it can work in the background for you. You do all the prompts and everything else. And I'm going to show you how super ridiculously easy this is to make your journey in crypto a heck of a lot easier. And I'm going to show how it can help you to pay your taxes. I'm going to show you how it can help you to balance your portfolio and everything in between. So let's just jump right into it. So about a couple weeks ago or so, or week, 10 days, something like that, I showed you the daily crypto briefing. And what this is built on Google Gemini. And I think that Google Gemini is going to blow out ChatGPT and probably be in the runoff with Grok for the main AI piece that is being used. And I showed you, and this is all free, of course, and I built it for you guys so you can make this so you can understand things, so you don't freak out when things happen in the market. So you can use it just to bounce questions off when I'm not there, or you don't have the time to watch every single person on YouTube talk about what's happening in the crypto market. So I gave you this link. I showed you how to use it. I just said, just type in report and then click submit. Now, depending on how yours is set up, mine is set up on DeepThink, so sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But what it's going to do in a certain amount of time is just spit out a report about what's going on at that particular moment for the crypto and digital asset space. And I made it so it would be kind of comprehensive to kind of see like what's happening during that day, what could be happening with the fear of greed index, what could be happening with liquidity, what could be happening with people getting liquidated, what it would be for moving averages, and of course the big news stories across the board. So as you can see, there's kind of working here, moving throughout the data points, and hopefully it brings some things up. Again, mine is set up for a little bit more. And you can see here, this is what's happening at this particular point at 11:49 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time on this beautiful day of January 11th. And this is what we got. So it'll give you prices, which everybody can look it up. Bitcoin trends, if it doesn't do a great one, it'll tell you to go to into the CRYPTOVERSE. I've heard of that website. What's going on with macro? Of course, Friday. Headlines, XRP ETF frenzy, regulatory heat, sanctions evasion, ETF flows, liquidation. These are just the big stories that are happening and some talking points. And what's great about this app, which gave you a link in the description, you can ask it questions like, hey, what does this all mean for, let's say, well, not everybody's favorite, but some people's favorite. What does it all mean for XRP? And you can ask it questions, and it can go back and forth with you and kind of give that out. Let's see, what does it say? Verified data accuracy. Investigating data anomalies, reconciling time discrepancy as it comes through. I guess looks like there is sometimes a little bit of a bottleneck. Let's see. But I like using it and bouncing ideas off it because not everybody knows everything, and you can only get a certain aspect of the market in specific places. And if you're just in it for like the echo chamber, just to kind of go there and feel good, tons of different YouTube sites for that. But if you want to like get into it and see like what's really happening, here you go. Here's the breakdown of the current for XRP. That's interesting. XRP is decoupling from Bitcoin. Usually when Bitcoin bleeds and ETF outflows, altcoins collapse, XRP is doing the opposite, holding 210 and seeing record volume. That's pretty cool. And then talks about the stablecoin, price levels to watch, bottom line. This is great. So I love this stuff. And these are the big things that we need to talk about and moving forward. So before we get into it and just talk about all the requirements and how to do that stuff, let's get my man, Jerry, who's always busy. Welcome, Jerry. What's going on?
Hey, everyone. Thank you. I apologize for my delay. I had a technical issue with my battery backup.
Sounds about this same thing that happens in Puerto Rico. Costa Rica, you got to love it, right? But if you have no electricity, what are you going to do?
I'll tell you, you know what's wonderful is that we're in a world where services are becoming standardized. So I have the access to the same exact internet service that you do, regardless of what part of the planet you are on. Like I use Starlink. It's incredible and allows me, when I have electricity plugged into it, to connect and have the kind of stable, secure, robust internet that even the highest infrastructure elements on the planet do. Like there are elements in San Francisco where the infrastructure is impeccable, right?
Yeah.
Just impeccable. And it's hard to replicate that from a physical infrastructure on the ground. But with what we're having access to through satellite networks, it's evening out that curve and just, distributing the robust nature to everybody everywhere. It's really incredible.
Starlink is incredible. I just saw a report about how, I mean, this isn't a geopolitical channel, but we can't ignore it. The different happenings that are going on in Iran right now, and there's different, looks like regime change, looks like the people are overthrowing the government, which good for them. And there was an order to shut down internet across the country. Now, 20 years ago, that's going to happen pretty easily, right? But now with Starlink, it looks like Elon Musk just came out and said, sure, I'll give you as many Starlink nodes as you want to. And now people are connected to the internet and they're figuring out what's going on, and it allows for some cohesiveness in the population. We're in unprecedented times, and I love the things that are going on. There's some good things, there's some bad things, but this would come down to compute, which I'm glad Jerry's here because he understands this more than me, and what's happening with AI moving forward. So let's break that down, shall we? First of all, electricity. We need a boatload of it. And we've talked about this before, OpenAI looks like as far as annual growth, energy capacity, from what we have now to what we need in, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, 125x of what's needed. And it's not just that, it's data centers, it's compute. AMD, which is kind of like NVIDIA, they pretty much compete against each other, GPUs, processing units, things like that. A little bit more on the more inexpensive side. But Lisa Su Shares, who is the CEO, she was talking at CES. And Jerry, you sent this to me. And I want to play this for everybody just to see how insane things are about to get, which is what is needed for compute. Take a listen to this.
Everywhere. We need to increase the world's compute capacity to more than 10 yotaflops over the next 5 years. A yotaflop is a 1 followed by 24 zeros. So 10 yotaflops is 10,000 times more compute than we had in 2022. There's just never, ever been anything like this in the history of computing. And that's really because there's never been a technology like AI.
So, Jerry, give us your thoughts about this, about AI, how important it is, and compute and everything else that you're working with.
Sure. So simply stated, the compute necessary to run GPUs is at the highest level or the highest order of magnitude of any of the AI stack. GPUs require the most electricity to process the most data, plain and simple. However, you have to understand that in the context of the AI industry, only 10 to 15% of the industry needs the GPUs for training of data. Really? Most of us, like you and I and Jerry's Solar and Wind Solution and Yoga and Bailey and all the people in the chat, we're going to be customers of AI or light use clients. Customers and light use clients are going to primarily be interacting with AI from an inference perspective. In other words, think of it like this from the old digital realm. Google had all the data, and when you do a Google search, you are simply making a query. You're not the one holding all the data. You don't need all the electricity. You don't need all the power. You just need your computer to be able to ask that repository of data a question to get a response, right? So one of the things that we're seeing, at least I'm seeing in my world from Compute Portal, is more and more expansion and research into chips that don't require a lot of electricity to process inference. Chips like Grok's NP. Google's building a new chip, a TCU. There's LPUs and NPUs. These are processors that require far less electricity. So although the compute power we need is exponential, we can begin to reduce the electricity needs for some of the AI workloads by just using different, more effective chips.
Right.
I think so. What I'm trying to say is that you're going to see a lot of specialization in the AI industry as it pertains to what's needed to train, what's needed to inference, what's needed to use, what's needed to have an active memory versus long-term. And we're seeing more and more specialization. But again, all of it does require electricity. So how are we going to provide that electricity? Are we going to stop air conditioning our homes so that we can run our AI application? I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm excited to look at small scale solar. Everybody having solar who can produce it.
Yeah.
Love the creation and expansion of hydroelectric facilities around the world, and small scale nuclear is becoming more and more of a viable answer when it's in context to the same designs that the U.S. military uses for their submarines and their carriers.
Yep, and it's a big, huge question. It's a big, huge problem, and hopefully we solve it. But the people right now, Jerry, are asking themselves, what does this mean for me? Because I want to know how this is going to actually affect me. And Shah says it very correctly. Can you trust Gemini? Because I tested it before, and sometimes his data was wrong. And that's the thing about this. Some of these things are going to be wrong. It's not going to be 100% correct. And we're just the early players. But I'm going to show you some things today that I think can actually help you make things a little bit easier in your life, especially as it pertains to the crypto digital asset market. And one of those things is like this. So this just came out today, like a couple hours ago. And it was from Solana, and it says, X is quickly becoming the everything app, and soon Solana will be built in. Jerry, you just reading that, what do you think about that? What do you think they're talking about? Just off the top of your head.
Well, I can tell you what it infers. It infers that Solana is about to make a deal with X to integrate its blockchain into the platform base level infrastructure. Right. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it sure does. If it were true, it sure would be a feather in the cap of Solana and all Solana owners.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. I'm like, oh, great. This means that Solana is going to integrate, and we're going to be using micropayments, and we're going to be using nothing but Solana on there. I guess Dogecoin just lost out, and all hail Solana. Fantastic. That's not what it was. And what I love about AI now is because it can show you what's real and what's not real to a point, right? Just like my man was talking about, can you really trust it? No, you can't trust it. But this is what it actually said. Up here, you can explain this post, and it'll whip some things out. And what Grok said was this. It came down to, and I put it up here, Solana's post teases deep integration with X through smart Cashtags, a new feature allowing users to embed Solana tokens in posts for instant access to real-time charts, price, and news. And I'm still thinking to myself, this is awesome. Solana is going to be used as micropayments. Advancing X's Everything apps. The announcement led by X product head Nikita Beer, Solana advisor, highlights Solana's high-speed blockchain as ideal for seamless on-platform crypto interactions, blah, 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 blah. Here's what that really means. And I ran this through Grok again. Smart Cashtags are an upcoming feature on X announced today, January 11th. By Nikita. They're the evolution of regular Cashtags, which are those ticker mentions like Bitcoin, Tesla, or Apple. So what do you get? When you tap a smart Cashtag in the timeline or search, you'll see real-time price and live price feeds, performance charts, key statistics, and a consolidated feed of all mentions of that specific asset across X. So this is not about micropayments or anything else. It's just allows you to check out Solana about what's happening, key stats, performance, consolidation feed of all those things. So, Jerry, what's your thoughts now on this like nice little beautiful, highly ambitious post?
I think it's a great step forward, right? When you're able to assign a history or have access to real archival data by just the click of a button, I think that's super important, right? To get some history, because those always provide context, right? You're
Right.
looking, and then you can do a deeper dive into Grok if you want to, obviously, right? But I think it's a first start. I think we're only a year or two away from having integrated payment solutions through X.
Yeah. Well,
And it might be multi-headed, like multi-chain or multi-disciplinary, whether it be Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, whatever.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's a step in the right direction, but like, I mean, those posts would used to always get me. Now that I got Grok, I just click on that. Oh, you know what I also like for Grok is like when there's different things going on geopolitically, or someone posts a video about like, look at what's going on in this neck of the world. I can't believe it. And they're talking about like, let's say Australia, and they'll post a video. I'll click on the little Grok thing. I'll say, this was taken from Jersey 5 years ago, for them doing the exact same thing, but totally opposite of what they're talking about. And I'm like, damn it, this thing. So like, I know people will say like, well, AI is awful and it leads to a little bit of nonsense as far as the dissemination of information. But if you can double check it, I love it for that point. So that'll lead me to this next point here, which, how do we make this? How do we make this work for us? First of all, what we just talked about as far as with Gemini doing a crypto report, maybe you don't want a crypto report that's basically shows this. Maybe you want to do your own thing. Maybe you're a big trader. Maybe you're big into technical analysis. Maybe you're big into like pick your favorite altcoin. And you just want basic information about what's going on with that, maybe some price levels to do it. You can do all this stuff and make this happen by just going here. There's a link in the description. It takes you to gemini.google.com. And when you're here, this is how you make your own crypto AI. It's quite simple. You're going to see this little hamburger menu, and it's going to open up to these things called gems. I got 2 gems: daily crypto briefing and language islands, Spanish, because it's important. And it's a great thing because like I create another app where it makes these things called islands for new languages you want to learn. It'll create the islands, it'll test you on the islands, and you can talk back and forth. And that's a whole other video, which is not suitable for this, unfortunately, this channel. So let's just do this. You go click on gems. There's 2 types: gems manager, which is, gems made by labs. Don't use that. I don't like that one. And you can create a new gem. And right here, you see mine right here, daily crypto briefing. Let's edit it. Because people will tell you, and they're going to lie to you. And they're going to say, you need all these awesome prompts. You need to make this out perfectly. No, you don't. They're full of it. All you need to do, this is my first prompt was this: I need a daily crypto report. Enter. And that was it. And then when it did that, because I put in like the description, this is what I need. And here's the instructions. And I just started with this. And I clicked on submit. And then it said, would you also like us to put like the fear and greed index and Bitcoin dominance? Would you like us to look at liquidations? And I'm like, oh yeah, duh. I forgot about that. And then I press enter again. Then it said, oh, if you like liquidations, maybe you'd like us to get you some information from ETFs, pending ETFs. Maybe you'd like to see what's going on with different altcoins. I'm like, damn it, it's exactly right. So it just kept adding and adding and adding until I get that crypto report. But when you're here and you want to put like, actually, Jerry, let's just make one. How about, let's just go through that. Gems. Let's do a new gem. What do you want this to be, Jerry?
Well, one of the interesting topics is power, right?
Cool. Gem. So, well, power, but what is this going to do?
Electricity new electricity sources.
So people are going to say right now, like, well, can't I just put that prompt in every time? You can, and you can just save it and just keep doing the same prompt, or you can just come here and just have this ready to go. New electricity sources. What is this going to do? So to find new and potentially great electricity sources, throughout the world.
Perfect.
Or whatever.
Love it.
Submit. It's going to ask us. Gem not saved. Saved. Great. Start a chat.
And you can just say what's new today, right? Since you've already created the gem, you just say what's new today.
Yeah. What's new today? Tough headline, but it'd be the same thing. So let's go back.
One of the elements of this that I find really fascinating is that it differentiates itself from the old school Google search element in all of the recommendations that it gives for defining or redefining or expanding upon your prompt.
Yeah.
Google didn't do that. They would just give you what you searched for or what it thought you were searching for.
Exactly. And then you have to go through all these different websites and find it. And maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. But again, like this information, it pretty much just scrapes as much as it can. And the more information you put in, the better it actually becomes. Then there's this thing called default tool. And you can do deep research. This is if you wanted to look at like different studies that are being done, you know, cross-nationally or by different government agencies or by different specific energy sources or companies that lay out energy infrastructure, stuff like that. You can create a video, images, this is not for you, Canvas, and guided learning. This is if you want to learn about those things. So it's just different ones. We'll do deep research, which if I do deep research, it's going to be quite a bit. And then knowledge.
Every time you do it?
Yeah, every time you do it.
All right.
So if you just do here, no default tool, it'll pick the right tool for you. And then knowledge is if you have like PDFs, if you have documentation, if you have some kind of study that you want to put it, you can just click here, add files, and you can do upload or add it from the drive. If you have like Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Keynotes, whatever, slides, and go from there. And then here, right here is, oh, hold on. And when I enter the word search, look for any and all new mentions of electrical output. And right here on this screen, instead of going to the gem and actually saving it like I shouldn't have done, this is where you can test everything. So let's do submit. And it goes like this. But let's say, well, I guess, so Jerry, what would you think would be like a good one for crypto, digital assets?
One of the things that is always interesting to me is how we can utilize the publicly available information that's on the blockchain, right? So acquisitions of large amounts of my favorite cryptos, right? So is there a quote unquote explorer that I can tap into or that the AI can tap into and tell me, okay, I've got this many new wallets created for Ethereum. Oh, in the last hour or the last 10 days. And then benchmark that to historical data to try to determine trend prior to a news article that I read from Crypto Times or, you know, whatever. That might be a little more sophisticated than what building a gem can do right now, but I don't think it's too far away where outfits like Chainlink and some of these other maybe not so popular or not so famous oracles are starting to make readily available chain data to knuckleheads like you and I that are interacting with elements just like this with Gemini's gem creation.
Right. Jerry, think of the top altcoin out there that you would put a ton of money into.
Cardano.
Oh, okay. So Cardano. Hey, it could be right. Let's see. Cardano. Okay. give me a briefing of what is happening for all aspects of the China and key indicator levels for buying and or selling. Default tool, knowledge. Okay. When I type in go, give me a comprehensive breakdown for Cardano. And let's see. And then go. See how it does. Oh, how's the price of Cardano, Jerry?
We should have checked it before we did this,
I'm,
and then after.
I'm guessing it would give us an update. So let's let that. Let's let that.
Problem has always been their marketing.
Hey, DMs are open, Charles. I mean, if you want to throw me a bunch of Cardano, I'm not going to say no. Let's see. Executive summary. Pricing, current sentiment, neutral, cautious. All right, key narrative. Marketing intelligence, 39 to 40. Now, this would be pretty cool. Selling levels. Critical. Wow, this is pretty comprehensive.
It is. Well, you asked it for a comprehensive report, and you're getting it.
Now, this is what I was talking about with my report. Let's see. What other ideas should I add to this report for Cardano that I am missing? I think this is where the magic is. So it'd be the same thing, like if people are like traders, or they're more of long-term investors, or they want to enhance what their portfolio is doing, this would be the way to do it. Okay, you must add these 4 critical missing. Oh, really? These are high-impact narratives that are currently driving the smart money. Bitcoin DeFi bridge.
Okay, Bitcoin DeFi.
Real world assets.
RWA, okay. Keep going. ETF narrative,
ETF.
that's huge. And why? Oh, I guess the upgrade to the network speed and transaction capacity with Laos. All right, that would make sense. Those are.
I didn't even know this. Okay, so now what you do is say, okay, add this to my report when I click go.
Don't you have to put that in the other side?
I'm going to find out. I always forget if I put it here, I put it here.
I think you need to put it into the instructions so that it's more than a one-time thing. If you do it in the prompt on the right, then it'll do it that time.
Yeah,
but
this
I don't
is just
do it every
yeah,
time.
you're right, Jerry. It's preview. You're right.
I don't want to be right. I never want to be right if it makes you wrong.
Well, that's going to be very tough because I'm wrong a lot. So let's see here. So we do preview. And then what I can do is just say, excellent. So then just save that. I've updated the Go master briefing. I guess not.
Maybe. Can you close it down, open it up, come to this gem and press go and see if it does it?
Yeah.
Or is that are we taking too much of the audience's time geeking out on this Gemini gem site?
I know, right?
But it's totally cool.
Let me refresh this. Oh, I'm going to show you something even better than this in a bit.
Just when I thought it was good, there's more?
Oh, yeah, this isn't.
Holy tamale.
So So if you ever want to edit it, you go there. No, you're right, because it should be here. Anyhow.
In the
Let's not
instructions
spend so
so that it's repeatable every time you give it the instruction of go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that, which is how you do it. Just so you know, like I've got the Gemini 3 Pro, which you can still do most of this stuff, but I don't think that it's as comprehensive. It's $20 a month. I don't have a link for you. I don't have anything. So when you do this and go to gemini.google. What is it? Gemini.google.com. If you want to upgrade it to like save some things, make things faster, it's $20 a month. But I think for most of you can get away with just the basics. Okay, so there's this one. Then I want to show you about this other one, AI Studio. And this one was pretty cool because, first of all, if you want to build like a website, like I did with the animal shelter, this is how you do that. Any kind of website, any kind of app that you want to build, it's all right here. And like, it's the most basic thing as well. You don't have to like know code. But what I did is I just said, hey, I said, make me a website for an animal shelter here in Puerto Rico by the name of Amigos de los Animales, and focus primarily on adoption. And it spit this thing out. Beautiful, beautiful stuff, right? But then there was one part where I said, hey, there's like no section. I said, I need to have a volunteer section with a schedule of times of walkings and cleanings so people know. And it spit out this. And then, of course, it's got this AI matchmaker, which we talked about before, like, give me I want a senior dog that is house trained. And this is going live on their website. I'm actually deleting their website and putting this in its place.
Have you worked out the wallet connection stuff and the pay with crypto elements? Where
yeah. So like that one was down here, and I actually had to do this. I said, you know, make me a section for all their integrations for payments. We're able to do PayPal, Venmo, ATH, GoFundMe, Amazon. The crypto, I have to sit down with them, and I gave them a TANGEM wallet. And then when they click on crypto, it'll have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, BNB, and all EVM chains. That'll just be right there, so people can scan it or just send it. So I just have to set up their wallet real quick. But the thing is
so
Google,
impressed.
Yeah, that's cool. But this is by far the best part. Gemini Live. Watch this. So there's a link again in the description. I'm going to click on share screen. Damn it. Let me refresh this. There we go. And I'm going to click on entire screen. And this is what I want you guys, if you're so inclined to. This is not AI advice. But I'm going to enable the voice. Gemini, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. How can I help you?
Great. I get this problem. First of all, can everybody hear this lady's voice? Just curious. Great. I got a problem with CoinLedger. So I'm doing my taxes.
I can't determine what other people can hear because I'm not.
Yeah. No, you're fine. So like, look, this is CoinLedger, everybody. This is their portfolio tracker. This is their dummy account. But what I'm asking you, Gemini, is I've got an issue with what does all this stuff mean? Like, explain this to me about the market value and cost basis.
Sure. On your CoinLedger screen, the market value, which is currently $427,589, is the total current worth of your assets. Your cost basis at $61,713 is the original price you paid for them. The difference between those two is key for calculating your gains or losses for taxes.
Great. Now down here it says something like this, based on your imported data, 411 Solana are missing cost basis, and I can troubleshoot here. Walk me through how this would work.
That missing cost basis alert means the platform doesn't know the original price you paid for that Solana. To fix it, you'd typically click Troubleshoot here and manually input the details of those transactions, including the purchase price and date. Does that make sense?
What does it mean here? The data, can you walk me through these three things? Import Binance, Crypto.com, and KuCoin, so I get this right. Yeah.
Sure. That section is for integrating your transaction history. If you have KuCoin, Crypto.com, or Binance accounts, you'll need to import that data from those platforms. This helps CoinLedger fill in the missing cost basis information for your Solana transactions.
Okay. So that is the next thing. So I'm not going to go through this, but right there, you have everything that you need right there for everybody watching is how to create your own little app, how to walk you through it if you don't know what's going on. And then that website that I showed you, one of the things I will say is this, is when I was putting that together, I was asking it, well, how is this going to work with the old website? How do I make this? And it said, oh, you have to have a GitHub account and you have to go through, you have to send everything over there. And then Apple or Google will update it and it'll do a push to GitHub. And then you can actually make it live. And I said, is that the easiest way you can do it? And she's like, yeah, that's the easiest way. And I was going through the whole process and I asked them again, like, isn't there an easier way to do this? Because I'm gonna have to hand this over to the staff over there at the animal shelter. They go, oh, yeah, you can just click the update button. I'm like, what? You gotta just click the update button, it'll go live. I'm like, damn it. That means that all this stuff with the GitHub and everything else was wrong. She's like, yeah, sorry about that. So this works pretty well, but it's in its infancy, but it can make some pretty cool things. Anyhow, that was a long video. I apologize. I just want to show everybody this new stuff. I know it's a departure from crypto and digital assets, but I must be honest with you. I'm quite bored with the 90K Bitcoin sideways forever. And I just want to take a day off and do something different. Anyhow, Jerry, what's your thoughts on all this stuff?
Well, I think we've seen pretty much what Bitcoin itself can offer us, right? Incredible store of value, one that actually allows us a sovereign ownership regardless of our jurisdiction. Doesn't matter if I'm in Hong Kong, Costa Rica, Florida, I can own my Bitcoin. I think that's super important. But I don't necessarily think that it's exciting, right? And I'm, for one, absolutely elated at the prospects of what AI, robotics, the Internet of Things is unfolding before our eyes. You've just graciously demonstrated how you're using one of these AI tools. I think the really fun and fascinating thing about it is how will others use these tools to create either products or services that will add value to their life, add value to the lives of others. It's what we're doing at Compute Portal. We're trying to create a place where people can access the resources to build those tools. You need electricity running through a silicon chip, powering that software to be able to do anything with it. And so we're a real pick and shovel type of thing because we see there's nothing but expansion in this industry.
Yeah,
for decades to come.
For decades to come. Yeah. And I got to tell you, there's going to be some risks. There's going to be some failures. There's going to be a lot of things. There's going to be a lot of issues. If we can't fill out the electricity problem, we can't fix the compute problem. If we can't fix the compute problem, then we can't fix the AI problem, and we can't advance to where we're supposed to be. I think it's going to be some great parts to it and some absolutely destructive parts to it. But I think it is the future, and I want to see people use it and utilize this to make their lives better. One of those ways to do it is when we talk about do your own research, people always say, like, what does that mean? And I'm like, well, you just got to go to these and on-chain analysis and go here and go there. Now you can just ask the question, get some feedback, verify that feedback, and then go from there. That's it for today. So look, everybody, thanks for sticking around. We appreciate it. If you want, we'll do a little Q&A, and you can ask Jerry any question that you want to, and he'll answer all of them. Let's get to it. Bison says, I'm working on an app and luckily have a dev helping with the AI prompts. He's spending the last year taking courses on generating code with AI, and there's a lot to it. Yeah, sounds good. I wonder how much Bison you can do yourself, like in all honesty. I mean, whatever the app is, because a lot of these things, like I didn't think I could do it, and then you just do this thing called, the kids call it vibe coding, and then you spit some things out, and some things don't work, some things do, and you just kind of keep working until you get it right. I wonder. Sounds like it works just like. Jerry, what do you think about the legislative part of the government, the House of Representatives and Senate being replaced by some forms of AI?
Your question at its face implies that a human representative would be replaced by a digital representative. I'm not necessarily hip to that idea. I do love the idea of how AI will make a congressman or woman's job or a senator job easier, and also could be utilized with other technologies to become more transparent. And I think that is the key, right? Just like AI is actually making you smarter. You are able to do more today than you were able to do yesterday as a direct result of your interaction with that Gemini tool, as just evidenced by the website that you built for Amigos de Animales. I forgot what the full name of it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the same would hold true for people in our legislative branch, right? These people that are making laws for the country. I think you're going to see that in every industry. I think it's going to make doctors better. I think it'll make lawyers better. I think it'll collapse costs in the medical industry. I think it'll collapse costs in the legal industry, right?
Right.
And I'm, for one, excited about that, because as a new business owner, I'm having to interact with those things. I have to interact with the laws of the land. I have to interact, you know what I mean? It would just be wonderful if they weren't so arduous and expensive to deal with.
Yeah, hard, difficult, time constraints, and expensive. It's true. Hey, this is a good one. Andy says, Jerry, what makes Cardano your top pick?
And I'm old, so I have to preface my answer with I'm old, and I come from a world of research and testing prior to implementation is preferred, and Cardano seems to be the one L1, right, layer 1 proof of stake protocol that actually holds true to formal methods prior to release. And I just think that if I'm going to build a business or run a country or a financial system for the next 120 years, I want something that does its homework prior to going live, as opposed to here it is and we'll fix it as it goes.
Yeah, there's definitely two ways of looking at things. One is just get it out there, hope it works, and then, you know, push. The other way is like, let's make sure we're super careful and not get too much going.
I've just seen too much value locked up get destroyed by protocols that aren't bulletproof, and they just get, I mean, the news is littered with them, especially the last 3 years. Maybe not so much going forward, but we'll see.
We will see. We'll see which one makes it. Frosty P says, but will it make the DMV better?
I think it could. Can you imagine working with a DMV app that is AI integrated, that's actually a functioning, viable AI that the user, me, can interact with to find out what is, this is the issue I have that I need to be resolved with the DMV. Can I do it digitally online? The application interface says yes or no. If yes, here's how we do it. If no, you need to go in. Okay, when is the best time for me to go in? If I'm going to take 2 hours off of work, when do I go? And it says Tuesday at 10:30. The mean wait time is 5 minutes. Every other is a half an hour. Well, then I would have choose to take my time off on that Tuesday at that time. You know what I mean? I think there could be a tremendous validity to efficiency in anything you want to point it at that has to reference and correlate data.
Yeah. That'd be the big thing if they can pull it off. But yeah, it comes down to execution. I think, let's see what else we got. I think that's it. We've answered all the questions under 45 minutes. It's pretty good. All right, everybody. So not the typical digital assets video, but even I get bored of the same grind every single day about, when's it going to do this? When's it going to do that? I have to tell you, I appreciate the volatility of what we used to have. Now with TradFi in the space, it's boring. 90K all day long. And we'll see if it works out. Maybe it's good for, keep to accumulating forever. But
I think we're getting to the point where we're not going to be fighting so many headwinds that we're actually going to get some tailwinds, right? Any type of momentum to a liquidity cycle expansion is good news for our industry.
Yeah, for sure.
And when we look at the massive amount of debt that needs to be refinanced, the need for expansionary credit policy, which means lowering the rates to borrow money, it's in everybody's interest. It's in the federal government's interest. It's in state government interest. It's absolutely in the interest of everybody who's borrowed money and needs to refinance.
Yeah.
And this all bodes well for a liquidity cycle, which would probably bring, a tremendous impact, maybe 100%. Maybe we go from 3 to 6 trillion in the next liquidity cycle. That's a relatively easy thing to do.
Yeah, it's easy to do. As long as people just stop buying gold, then we're going to be just fine. They seem to love precious metals. All right. Everybody, that's it for today. So like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. See you guys on the next one. Adios.